All right, so let's go to day 2 of 6.6, and this is function operations and a little bit more. So we've done add and subtract, multiplying and dividing. That was what the last lesson was. And now we're going to do something that's a little bit trickier, but it's not too bad. It's called composition of functions. So whenever you're doing this, you are combining two functions. You're like putting one inside of another and then manipulating it from there. So there's a few different ways you can write it. Here is one way, right here, and you say, all of them are pronounced the same thing, f of g of x. So you can write it this way, you can write it this way, so f of g of x still. And then the other way that you'll probably see, I think, on the homework is, it's like the first way, except it has some parentheses. So f of g in parentheses of x. And yes, I know it looks like fog, but it's not. Another thing to note whenever you're doing these, it looks similar to the multiplication problems that we did on the last lesson, except for this time, last time the multiplication was closed dot. Whenever it is an open dot, you're going to be doing this composition of functions. Okay, so let's actually do some problems. I did change it from what was given, so I changed it to this. So if you don't have this on your paper, please write it down. So we have f of x, okay, equals 4 of x, and g of x equals 6x plus 2. So what you do on this is you take the second function, so g of x in this case, and you plug it in to the first. So I'm going to take all of this, the g of x, and plug it in to the f of x. Okay, doesn't sound too bad, right? Or maybe it does, I don't know. So this would be 4, right? And then we're going to put in for that x all of that other stuff, what the g of x actually is. So it looks like that. All I did was take that stuff from the g of x and plug it in for the x in the f of x. All right, now we need to clean it up. So I'm going to distribute that 4, so that gives me 24x plus 8. Can I solve it anymore? The answer is no, you cannot. So this is your answer. Okay, here's another one. So this time we're doing the f of x, so you're plugging in all of the, oops, that's not a highlighter, all of the f function into the g function. Okay, so you're plugging in all of this in for this x right here. Let's do it. So I have 6, sorry, I'm trying to get it together, times whatever the f of x function is. In this case, it's 4x. And then I have that plus 2. Okay, so that gives me 24x plus 12. And that's it. All right, next one, we have h of g. It's not hog. I know it looks like it, but it's not. Of n. So how you say it is h of g of n. I know it's weird. Okay, so this one's a little bit trickier, but not too bad. So you're doing the same thing. You're plugging in the second one into the first. So I'm putting all of this in for this variable right now here. And we have n's this time instead of x's, and they show that right here. No big deal. It's still a variable. You do the exact same thing. But this one is a little bit different. So when I plug that in, it's going to be the 3n minus 4. And since in the h of n, the whole thing is being raised to the second power, I need to raise that to the second power. Okay, so now that gives me, I'm ready to clean this up. Since this is a binomial, we're going to have to rewrite this as 3n minus 4 times 3n minus 4. And then bring down that plus 3. And the only reason I did that is because it's a binomial. I can't just square it straight up as we normally would. Okay, now let's go ahead and keep going. So we got to distribute this 3n. That would give me 9n squared. 3n times -4 is -12n. Now we're ready to distribute the -4, so that gives me -12n right there. -4 times -4 is +16. And then I'm going to drop down that +3 on the outside. Alrighty, now let's clean it up and write it in standard form. So I'm going to write my 9n squared first because that has the highest exponent. And then combine my n's. -12n minus 12n would give me -24n. And then my constants, +16 plus 3 gives me +19. And we did it. All right, let's do another one. So here we go. On this one, it is g of h of n. So g of h of n. So this time you're plugging in the h into the g. Okay, so plugging in this whole h into the g. So let's do it. We've got 3 times, and then we're going to write that whole h of n function, so n squared plus 3, and then you still have that -4 to bring down. All right, so now let's clean it up. I need to distribute this 3, so that would give me 3n squared plus 9 minus 4. Combine your like terms, and I have 3n squared plus 5. And that's it. 2 more. Okay, so this one's probably is as tricky as it's going to get. No big deal, we can do it. So I need to find f of g and g of f, so I'm going to do e first. So let's do f of g. So finding the g and plugging it into the f. So we're taking this and plugging it in for here, but you need to be careful on this one because there's 2 different places that they have a variable in f of t. Okay, so let's do it. I've got 2, so 2 times, and then I'm going to plug in that whole g thing, so 4t minus 8, and that t is being squared, and then plus 3 times the g of t again, so 4t minus 8. All right, now I have a lot to clean up on this. So go slow, take your time. I'm going to do the left side first. So 2, and then this is going to be 4t minus 8 times 4t minus 8, because that binomial is being squared. And then I'm going to work this out. So I'm going to FOIL before I distribute in this 2 right here. So let's FOIL first. So I've got 4t times 4t gives me 16t. 4t times -8 is -32t. -8 times -4t is -32t. -8 times -8 is +64. And don't forget, I still have that 2 on the outside, so I need to keep parentheses around it for now. All right, so we have some options. We can either distribute in that 2, or we can combine like terms. I'm going to choose to combine like terms first. It doesn't matter which way you choose, but that's what I'm doing. Ooh, I see I made a mistake. This right here, 16t, should be 16t squared, because it was 4t times 4t. You probably already caught that. All right, so now I still have my parentheses. So this would be 16t squared, dropping that down. Combine your like terms, that gives you -64t. And then drop down that 64. Now I believe I'm ready to distribute that 2 in. Okay, so 2 times 16t gives you 32t squared. 2 times -64t, that would be -128t. 2 times +64 is +128. Okay, that's kind of gross, but it's doable. You just got to go slow and take your time. All right, now let's do the left side. It's a lot easier, don't worry. So all I need to do is distribute this in, and then I'm going to bring it down to the bottom. So positive 3 times 4t gives you positive 12t. Positive 3 times negative 8 gives you negative 24. All right, now I have everything distributed. Now we just need to write it in standard form and clean it up. So I'm going to write the 32t squared first, because that's the first thing we need to do for standard form. Then I have my t's. I have negative 128t and a positive 12t. What would that be? Negative 116, I believe. Yeah. T. And then I have positive 28, or 128 and positive 128 and negative 24 would give me positive 104, I believe, if I did that math in my head correctly. Okay, that is it for that problem. So let's box it, and we're done. We just have one more to go. I think this one's a little bit easier, so don't worry. Okay, so this time we're plugging in the F into the G. So taking this whole F and plugging it in for that G. This one is definitely going to be easier. So I have 4 times 2t squared. Oops, I'm changing colors. I'm trying to be good with my color coding on this. So 2t squared plus 3t. And then I have a minus 8 that I need to drop down. All right, this one's a lot easier than the last one. We need to distribute this 4. So that would give me 8t squared plus 12t minus 8. Let's clean it up. Okay, look, there's nothing to combine, so there's no like terms that you can combine. It's also already in standard form. That was nice. So we're done. All right, that is it for this video. Thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your day.